maybe a bit more in the back half of the game, but now that we see the full comps, it's pretty clear the direction that both of these teams want to head. Once again, you know, mid-game power spike coming in from WE, you're basically always going to get that when you draft Xin Zhao Rise. You want to play for that macro advantage that you're going to be able to skirmish with.
Kale and Hope don't have the easiest way of walking through the choke point, but it's not even contested, so now Kale and Hope are in the river. W are trying to shift their attention to blocking the banana brush entrance here. The dragon is still leashed. 1800 health. Tarzan is walking around. He can still walk in and just yoink this away from Monkey. It's going to be a 50-50. 3 to 4, 800 HP. It is secured by Monkey, and KO might have gone a little too far forward. Tarzan trying to pick his targets wisely here. Vampire is the one that is super low. Flashes away to safety. Tarzan could be in trouble. Will flash over the wall, but now Shanks is here for the party. I think he already used the shockwave. But the rest of WE are just going to make a clean getaway and not drop a single man. This should guarantee the objective for themselves.
Yeah, no real way to contest this if you're WE. You spent quite a few resources on the top side there. That being said, they're in the area. Monkey's still here. We've seen teams throw it away here before. Will they do it again?
Realm Warp is coming in so that Karis can get there much quicker, I should say. Tarzan is forced to flee. Monkey will try to secure this last grub for himself, but he doesn't have a smite. And a teleport is coming in. Cease and desist right on top of Monkey. Grand entrance and the shockwave carrier system, but Monkey punts the ball away with the crescent guard. Tarzan is the first one to drop. They equalize it by finding Vampire in the back, but it definitely could have gone worse for wear on the side of WE. The fact that Monkey survives is at least a nice consolation prize, but anyone's legend forcing WE away to a minute here. I forget that rank 1 ulti on Vi these days is super long, and Monkey denies all 3 grubs away, or the 3rd grub from anyone's legend, so...
Arguably at their strongest, you're starting to hit your first item power spikes on Xin Zhao and on Jin here. That's going to create a situation where they should be able to fight, but AL are going to be first to the position.
Yeah, Vampire jumps onto the Rakan, but now gets charmed up by the quickness. Vampire trying to flash away. Monkey. The rest of anyone's legend turning on to Monkey. Crescent Guard keeps some range damage away, but Shanks just walks up and down, smashes the flash. Featherstorm from Hope will ensure that Vampire falls, and Cares without a flash means that he cannot escape the shockwave this time around. Anyone's legend just cleaned out 3 for free.
On, and so the Leona ends up going in, gets bursted down, and has to run out. Monkey then follows up and tries to get a 3-man knockback with his ult from Shanks. I want to give him a lot of credit on this as well for his positioning on the Orianna, but Cube now just getting solo killed.
Okay, well, maybe the 369, or not 369, Cube Cassante pick is cooking, potentially, and Flandra...
It actually looks like they want to try to contest this Rift Herald. This is aggressive from them.
They know that Vampire does not have flash. He gets the stun onto Kale and stops him in his tracks. Cube teleporting over, now looking for a setup, but no one is really in position to be taken on a ride with the all-out, but he buys enough space to guarantee the Rift Herald secure for Team WE, but that leaves Flandra all by himself on the bot side, so he's going to get a chance to unlock the first Tier 1 turret of the game, especially since Cube is not able to continuously hammer down the advantage or bring even more members to make it accelerated. Now, Kale opening up and engage here for Tarzan, still holding on to the cease and desist, using the charm of the quickness. The shockwave pulls them right back in. Flandra has teleported to the fray, and someone just got sent up to high heaven, and Monkey comes crashing back down to earth alongside the rest of WE, and now Karis is on the run, forced to flash the Dark Procession.
Shanks is very quietly starting to get very scary, and I think that that is a big problem for WE, because look at the builds on WE when you look across the board. Your 2 main frontliners here in the Cassante and the Leona. Well, Cassante's full armor. He's got the Sunfire and the Bramble, now the Thornmail.
Continuing the split push antics of the Yorick. Karis cannot join this fight unless he wants to give up pressure. However, Flandra is recalling, so there's a chance, maybe, for Rise to join the fight, but they don't even need him. WE.
In terms of how they want to do this, you know, we'll see if it can actually get them anything. Right now, it just looks like tempo, but Tarzan also on the other side. He's going to get spotted out with a blue ward.
Okay, well, Kale got locked down and a little too far forward, but you know what? Anyone's legend, if they are willing to say, you know, support life for Tier 1 turret in the mid lane, then hashtag worth. Do some chunking on the side of Team WE.
Are we going to get a classic game-throwing fight over blue buff? I hope so.
Okay, that Soul Flare just goes wide, and now that's an easy shockwave to initiate. The charm from the quickness rounds them all up, but somehow Monkey survives. Karis does not get to live so graciously, and anyone's legend, knowing that it's past the 20-minute mark and they just forced off multiple members from the map, that's a free Otacon.
Yeah, that's why they were positioning on the top side here and playing so aggressive. They understood that if they could force a fight around this area, WE have no way to be able to contest over Otacon. Obviously, things go pretty disastrously for WE, but again, I don't imagine things getting better. We even saw part of the wombo there. You hit a shockwave on 1, 2 members. All of a sudden, Rakan can follow up completely effortlessly. Tarzan can dive the backline, and there's really no answer. If Hope's able to just sit on the backline and get out his own damage, he's going to be just fine. And look again, it's protection coming in from the Xayah.
1v4 in between 2 towers. Now has to sidestep multiple curtain call bullets, but now KO gets to step up. FloNDR even flanking.
This is what I was talking about in draft when I mentioned the Xayah being a really interesting pick. I know we mentioned that the Vi-Xayah synergy isn't always on point. I'll have to get to my point later, though. There's a fight going on here.
Shockwave again, and cease and desist guarantees the finishing touches on both Vampire and Karis. Shanks is no longer quietly carrying. He is definitely making a huge statement on the map. 5-0-4, deathless on the Orianna, the biggest shutdown bounty on his head, and I don't think Team WE are ever getting at this game.
She has so many peel tools that she can buy enough time without even really sacrificing all that much for the rest of her team to get there, and then the playmakers can start getting to work. So we could perhaps see even more. Cube is getting very low. Shockwave used.
Yep. And Anyone's Legend is just going to brute force this tier 2 on the bottom side of the map. And the way that you have described how well this Xayah works when everyone else from Anyone's Legend is just pretty much freedom in dictating the pace of the game, is now the rest of Anyone's Legend pressuring WE out of this river. And Vampire, unfortunately, is just too far forward and too slow on the Leona to escape. Lock of the Irons are already used. Crescent Guard will pump back 1. It's a 1-for-1 trade. And now the Featherstorm is going to allow Hope to reposition. Tarzan may have gone a little too far forward. Maybe this is a chance for WE to really capitalize. Shanks will survive as Monkey looked for the finishing blow, but Hope does fall. And wait a minute, Anyone's Legend might have just been caster cursed, because WE have just found the best fight they could have asked for this game.
Longest, most secure fight in the world. You don't have this big frontline tank that you can play front to back with. You need to be able to execute on whatever engage you end up looking for. So it definitely is still on AL to be able to make it happen. The problem is they still have a ton of pressure on the map, and if WE want to push forward,
you know, being able to use a summer spell. So
yeah, some supports like Hex Flash. Tarzan?
Looking for the flank.
Oh, no
it's
way.
Taeyun is the target, and KL tries to flash forward with the quickness, but Taeyun is able to distance himself with the flash. I mean, yeah, no one can follow through. He's way too deep, and now he's able to re-engage the fight with the curtain call. Karis with the Realm Warp is going to bring everyone else back in. Hope tries to reposition with the Featherstorm. Shockwave only hit 1 member, not that much damage. Monkey trying to survive, falls to FloNDR on the York, and he's able to make the difference here. And now Cube is separated from the rest of his backline because no one can step up to the maiden. FloNDR being able to be the big equalizer, and Hope flashing forward after Karis will ensure that this Rise doesn't get the machine gun them again. Anyone's Legend still maintaining Tarzan on the map will give them the advantage necessary to take this Baron.
How the hell were they bailed out in that fight? How is it possible that AL can initiate an exchange that poorly and still walk out of it with a victory? That just goes to show how strong these members were on the back end of it. It looks like they're going to be able to get Baron off of this as well, which is absolutely ginormous. We'll see if they want to wait a little bit of time to try and get it on the Shanks. Nah, they just want it now. It does not matter for them. Made by WE ends up getting incredibly punished, and it's not just Baron. It looks like it's going to be Soul Point going over to AL as well.
Yeah. Active items, it really seems like Cube is taking a lot of damage from this maiden. Meanwhile, Anyone's Legend now pressuring the mid inhibitor turret. There's the Shockwave! Monkey forced to pop the Crescent Guard. Will be able to escape. Vampire, not going to be the case. And Anyone's Legend now working with a 5-on-4 guaranteed for the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, they're going to be able to take 2 inhibitors at the bare minimum here. It will be mid and bot going down. We'll see if they want to stay for more. It is a 4v5. They are going to push in here.
Oh, yeah, baby. Let's see how far Anyone's Legend can go for the next 20 seconds. Cube taking a lot of damage. Cease and desist right on top of Taeyun, and he is exterminated. Hope with the feathers will rip it out of his back. Taeyun bites the dust, and the rest of Anyone's Legend will clean house on any remaining members from WE that tries to step up and square up. Shanks flashing backwards, just guaranteeing his life, but that is the series, that is the game. Anyone's Legend sweep WE 2-0.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.